American company, 61 actually now. And the company is specialized in education. We have our expertise in international curriculums, in academic development, in pedagogical professional development, and in education technology. It's a 1.3 billion US dollars company, and we have 45,000 clients and customers all around the world. These 45,000 clients and customers are public and private and charter schools of the US, of the UK, as well as in Europe. Plus, we have been working in the Arabian Gulf for the last 6 years. We've been working with ministries of education and with groups like Qatar Foundation, which is the ministry in Qatar. We also work with a number of regulators in Emirates, like ADEC, where we are working with and we are teaching about 30,000 students. We are working with other regulators like ADNOC, KHDA, Aldar, Bloom, Talim. We work with GEMS Group of Education, with Sheikh Zayed National Academy, and many more. In Saudi Arabia, we have about 4 years of experience. Our first customer in Saudi Arabia was Rawad Al Khalij Group of Education. That was our first client who purchased and is still using all our 25 programs up to this present date. We also, in our first year, started working with Learning Oasis, which is a company that has a number of schools, and I think 3 or 4 schools under it, and it's based in Medina. We are working with Tarbiyya Mutajiyya schools, with Matkidma Schools Group. 3 years ago, we also started working with Dom International School, and we work with MISC International, American International School. One of our biggest clients in Saudi Arabia is Ma'arif Group. It's been 1 year since we are working with Ma'arif Group now, and we are working with all of their Manarat schools. We have about 25 different programs in the assortment of our services, and about 20 million students use our programs from all around the world. All our programs are, by the way, accredited and approved by the Saudi Ministry of Education, and they are recognized as culturally fit and appropriate for the country as well as for the region. We made me and my team we made some quite a good research about your group. To be honest with you, we have the Memorial Day's national holiday today in the US for today and tomorrow, so that's the reason that many of our experts and our major consultants who are based in the US from our company, I could not invite them, but it's okay. I'll just take it forward, and we'll also give you a brief about the programs that we are about to offer you today. So, as I told you, we made some quite a good research about Atta Group, because that's what we do before presenting ourselves to any organization that is a prospect and of potential to us. And we found out that Atta is one of the largest education operators in the Arabian Gulf, and is also amongst the largest leading and high-ranking groups in Saudi Arabia. Having almost like 26,000 or 27,000 students. I don't know if these figures are correct, or if there are more students in the group. So I must say that undoubtedly it's quite a prestige and honor for us, for Edmentum, to work and to sign some sort of collaboration and joint venture with the group at this level like Atta. We are very glad, in fact, that we are having the time to meet and discuss the potential relationship today. We already have a recommendation from Engineer Mahmoud and Mr. Mohammed Shahrani. They were the first people who we met in this organization, and it was a time before Ramadan that we met them and explained them superficially about some of our programs, and Mr. Shahrani was more than happy to give for this step of having a demo and for me explaining about our different programs. In fact, it will be an added value, I believe, in the brand name of Edmentum and for the brand name of Atta Group, once we both agree to work together. And well, we are really excited to explore the possible ways and to figure out the possible methodologies of working together. Now, addressing to all the academic managers, all the board members, all the academic people from Atta Group, because I found out that Atta has a caliber of various curriculum under its umbrella and for its schools. Like you have the US curriculum in Aruba and in Aruba International School, which is for the SATs and for the ACTs. There is UK curriculum for the Middle East International School, plus there are French and Indian curriculums, whereby our major support from Edmentum will be for your American schools potentially and primarily, and of course then partially for your British schools as well. So initiating description about our products and our programs, I would first like to explore the systems and the programs that are already existing within Atta schools. So I don't offer the group with something which is already available or which is already being used within the group, because if I am about to offer a same or similar product or program, then it won't make any sense. And in case I offer any product with similar caliber or with same features or with the same pedagogical background, then it makes a lot more sense that our product should be like 50% better than your product or your respective program in terms of content, and from the pedagogical perspective, plus has to be comparatively competitive from the pricing point as well. So the programs available for your group in our offer there, today I will talk about like 3-4 programs that I really feel are the best and are the very much potential ones from our side, from Edmentum side, to be offered to your group. But first I want to make sure of a few things. I researched that Atta Group, and especially the American schools in Atta Group, I don't know which one are those. I think they are all Aruba, and they are the Reward schools of the international subsidiary of Reward schools that are using the American curriculum. So I would like to know that if your schools are equipped with NWEA map for the standardized assessment and for the standardized diagnostics of the students.
Yes, you used to have it before, but we stopped during the COVID-19.
I see. And is there any specific reason for, like for stopping this one, or were the students were not able to handle the content during the COVID?
It's not related to the content. It's related to the reliability of the exam, because, it will be online and the result will not reflect the real situation of the student.
I see. And what about now? Like now it's kind of post-COVID era, and there are a number of students, and I believe for the middle school and high school, almost all of the students have returned back to the school. So
yeah, we plan to use it, or use any other assessment, summative one, external one next year, standardized.
Okay.
Maybe the map, maybe other one.
I see. Because it's quite an essential information for me to absorb, because in my offer today, I am going to present you about one other standardized diagnostic tool, which is called ExactBath, and it's also a very widely and broadly used tool across the Gulf region and of course all around the world. So I'll be talking about that as well.
Okay.
Yes. I've also made a research that when it comes to the traditional curriculum and the printed textbooks and the traditional curriculum material the American curriculum schools at our group are extensively and broadly using McGraw-Hill, if I'm right.
Yes, you are right.
Yes, because I was just going through a couple of information about the group and McGraw-Hill, and of course also from time to time and from grade level to grade level, besides McGraw-Hill education, there is some sort of involvement of Pearson or Macmillan or HMH, Holt McDougall or Cengage Learning up to an extent. I'm not sure if these are the names that you're also working with.
Yes, actually from grade 1 up to 5, we stick to McGraw-Hill in main subject, which is English, science and math. But for HMH, we use it in English from grade 6 up to grade 12.
I see. Okay, so it's kind of a mixed curriculum, and whatever the better content and whatever the better publisher for each subject or for each area is, and the school has chosen those.
Actually, it's a resource. It's a different resource. But when we talk about the curriculum, it's the same standard. They follow the same standard, Common Core State Standard. So we use different resources to implement this in our school.
I see. So can I know a little bit about the resources or about the digital curriculum programs that you are using? As far as I know, in Saudi Arabia, a majority of the American curriculum schools, they are using digital curriculum resource, especially Savas Realize, which was formerly known as Pearson Reality. I'm not sure if that's the one which is being used in the school.
We don't use Pearson books, so we don't use Savas Realize one because this platform is related to Pearson. But in McGraw-Hill, they have a platform, and we use the resources, the digital resources for teachers. HMH, we use the digital resources for teacher, but for student access, because we have Classera platform. So this doubling of the work for student, we feel that it's not serve the student learning process. So that's why we stick to Classera, and we upload most of the material from McGraw-Hill to Classera. This is for students.
I see. And when we are talking about McGraw-Hill program or McGraw-Hill platform, is it the one that's called Actively Learn that's being used in your schools?
Actually, they offer this, but we don't apply it.
I see. So what's the program that's being used for now for McGraw-Hill side?
Math, English, and science.
I see. Okay, so these are the digital resources that.
Yes.
Okay, I got the idea now. So I just have one more question, and then I'll start showing our program, and I will start talking about our diagnostic tool. When it comes to the standardized tests, when it comes to the college and career readiness exams, so what are the exams that are being conducted in your school? Is it like SAT or is it ACT, or the students are taking both?
The students taking both.
I see. It's I think the SATs, they are being conducted in grade 12. I'm not sure that what other grade levels where the students are taking it, because in the US, students usually take it in grade 11 and 12.
No, in our school, they start by taking a trial in grade 10, by the end of grade 10, SAT. And after that, in grade 11, they try again till they get the score that they need to get it. And the ACT, they started to make it in grade 11, by end of grade 11, because this is an extra subject instead of SAT2.
Yes.
So these are the types of standardized tests that they use it in high school.
And all the students are mandated to take these SATs and ACTs.
Because based on the nationality, based on the requirement of the universities. But Saudi students, they didn't take SAT or ACT. They didn't take it. They have a special test for them here in Saudi Arabia.
I see. But let's say, for example, because majority of the international schools, they are compromised if international students and students from multinational backgrounds, and like, for example, some of them, they have to go back to Egypt, some of them, they have to go back to India, maybe. So all of those other nationalities that we are, diversified nationalities that we're talking about, they are compelled to take SATs and ACTs.
Yes.
Okay. And what about the APs? Is there also any involvement of the advanced placement?
No.
Okay.
Few number take this kind of students because it's not acceptable in Egypt. It's not a requirement of university in Egypt. They start now to be in Jordan, but not all students go through this kind of exam.
I see. Okay, so it's good that I have become firm about and I have become aware about the whatever is being used and whatever is in place in UTA. And so I would like to start by describing and by talking about ExactPath. It's a standardized test tool. It's a diagnostic tool that provides intervention. And when I compare and contrast MAP to ExactPath, MAP is an assessment that we know that tells you what the students know and what they don't know, and especially in the areas of English, reading, math, and science. From our experience from before in the Arabian Gulf region, what we know that MAP is compulsory in UAE, because this is how I'm going to relate and refer to our experience and about the product. So MAP is compulsory in UAE from the government and most of the schools now that are using MAP in Emirates. They have added our diagnostic tool ExactPath on top of MAP, because for the reason that ExactPath does the next steps that MAP does not do. ExactPath is our standardized program for test prep. It is focused in the areas of English language arts and reading and mathematics. In fact, MAP has an addition of science, but if I will compare and contrast both programs, so MAP tells you what your students are good at, what they're not good at. ExactPath takes that data, whatever is being collected from MAP, in case if a school is using MAP. Otherwise, ExactPath has its own diagnostic as well. So any kind of data that is uploaded or that's released from the diagnostic practice, ExactPath takes that data and turns it into personalized learning pathway, having the learning content that is differentiated to the needs of each individual learner. Therefore, it helps them with intervention, helps them improve their MAP results, improving the attainment and improving their growth from one assessment to the next. MAP is like taken 4 times a year. This says, okay, what the students are like right now, then what they are like right now in the second assessment, what they are like right now in the third assessment, and so on. But it does not do anything in between to help the students and learners improve those results or reduce the gap. Like MAP will give you recommendation, but it will just recommend and tells the teacher to go off and do that work. For example, working on those specific requirements. There are written recommendations, what I know from MAP, that what the child should do, but ExactPath gives them the actual content, the actual teaching, the practice, the mastery skills to help them improve. For example, it will not just say them like, for example, Paul is not good at multiplication, and dear teacher, you please assign him lots of multiplication or this X amount of multiplication work so he can improve. This is the model which is followed in MAP. But in ExactMap, it is like, okay, Paul is not very good at multiplication, and this is what the content is that we are going to give to Paul, and then that such that Paul practices in that content and he is capable to understand, and once he knows the entire concept, ExactMap is going to assess Paul in the same content for the same content, and once Paul has passed that content, ExactMap is going to move the student to Paul to the next bit, to the next task, to the next level. This type of content intervention is not available in MAP. So what I'm explaining or trying to elaborate is that in ExactMap, there is a personalized learning pathway which will give you the content based on the results of the student. That, okay, these are those ABC content or XYZ content that your students need to study in order to achieve the desired results. So ExactMap has a complete learning pathway. Knowing that your child isn't good at multiplication, this is how helpful MAP is. But there are some schools that really, and actually a number of schools saw the advantage of ExactMap, because sometimes you as teachers, sometimes you as parents want a program that says your child isn't good at multiplication and this is what they have to or should do to understand the multiplication. I'm going to give it to them and I'm going to help them understand the multiplication task. So there are two elements that ExactMap has got. If you just want the diagnostic from ExactMap, which is very similar to the diagnostic from MAP. And the other one is a complete bundle of ExactMap, which is, it's diagnostic and embedded with the learning pathway. So there are two parts of the conversation like here. That if there is some schools under other group that are either happy with MAP or they are not satisfied with MAP, does MAP do what they want to do? Would they want to use our diagnostic or our diagnostic ExactMap in terms of replacement? Because there are two ways that other can use ExactMap. Like the teachers, because since MAP is already there in place for a number of years and the teachers, they're already comfortable using MAP, the students, they're comfortable using MAP. So all the diagnostic tests and the standardized diagnostic assessments can be taken on MAP, and whatever the results are from MAP, those results can be further embedded into our program, our diagnostic tool, ExactMap, and ExactMap will create the learning pathway. And if this seems quite a bit complicated, then the suggestion would be to completely launch and to completely have ExactMap implemented in one of the schools and in all of the American curriculum schools in other group, because it will give the diagnostics as well as it will give the intervention and the learning pathway. Of course, such that if science is not a priority or a preference, if science is a preference of the teachers, then I would, let's say I'm an expert advisor and I'm a consultant and I'm about to advise to any school. So there are certain things, because ExactMap, it has English, it has reading, it has maths. But MAP, it has an addition of science. So if science is not a preference for the teachers, they can completely replace MAP with ExactMap. But if science is such that a preference for the teachers and for the students, then for the diagnostics, they can choose MAP. And for the learning pathway, they can have ExactMap embedded with that. So this is something that I explained about ExactMap. I would like to share my screen. I will try to also show the interface of our ExactMap. So I just wanted to make sure that if everyone's able to see my screen that I've shared now.
Yes, I can see it.
Yeah. So this is how our dashboard looks like. The best way, in fact, to understand the functionality of ExactPath, I have opened a user account from one of our schools in the United States. And so this is how the dashboard looks like. The subject it does are mathematics, reading, language arts, and English. It will give you a complete report, of course, for the students. Like there is skills report. It's kind of connecting. There is skills report for mathematics. There's skills report for reading. There's skills report for language arts. And there is also learning pathway progress, because the learning pathway progress, it will give you for either for the entire school, it can give you for entire school district, for some selected schools, for some selected grades. Let's say if I'm about to select grade 6, it can give you the report for grade 6. And there are other different features of ExactPath, and the best way to understand the functionality of ExactPath, I believe, the best methodology to understand is maybe if any of the teachers are interested to explore the features and to explore the modules and the functionality of ExactPath, I think maybe we can have a trial of ExactPath launched in some classes of Aruba school, or in some classes of some other schools, and teachers can try it, as well as some of the students can try it, or maybe those teachers who have their kids studying and school going, they can use it for their kids and explore that what are the features and what are the real added values or the value proposition which will be brought in and which will be added in as compared to the map. I don't know, Mr. Shadi, do you think it will be possible to have a trial of ExactPath launched in some of the classes? Of course, people from my team, they will be giving some sort of professional development and training and coaching, plus rostering for the teachers as well. So I would like to know that, will it be possible to partially or for time being to launch ExactPath in some of the classes, so that the teachers as well as the administrators can really understand the value of the modules?
Well, I believe we need to discuss this with the academic board first, and if they're okay with that, of course, technically we can.
Yeah, because if I will start explaining to you all the features and the functionality, because just to understand the functionality and the real value proposition of this program, it will require another hour or another hour and a half to completely show the teachers, because I believe the academic board and the academic decision makers as well as the teachers, they have to go through the content of the assessment and the way and the methodology of the assessment. So in order to understand all this, it requires some time. Well, it's not that I'm trying to get rid of explaining, but I believe what I'm talking about makes sense.
Okay, I believe if you just give us the opportunity to discuss this with the academic board, we will get back to you regarding this decision. No problem.
Yeah, okay, perfect. So with the permission of everyone else on the meeting, I will open the other part of our Edmentum platform, or of our Edmentum program, which is called ALVS. Well, we can also call it as Apex. Apex Learning is very famous also, and it's being used in some of the schools in Saudi Arabia. I was discussing with one of our respected staff who was coordinating with me in the beginning during the meeting. And so when I talk about the Apex program, it's a program which is specified for tutorials. And when I say tutorials, these are the tutorials for college readiness and for college and for career readiness, actually. As you can see from the list, they have tutorials for APs. Okay, APs is something that the students are not taking in UTA. They also have tutorials for SATs, for ACTs. So I would like to ask to our respected board members and to our respected academic people, if there are any specified SAT or other ACT test preps or courses that the schools in UTA group are using already.
I think 2 schools use AP's program, Middle East and Rawad Ishbilia. Rawad Ishbilia new in this part, but Middle East applied for the last couple of years, the past 2 years. So I think they will be happy with this part related to the AP.
Okay, AP, and are they also using some test prep and some tutorials for the SATs and ACTs, or the students are just going through MAP and they're using MAP for the preparation?
One of the school use MAP and the other didn't apply it yet. And for SAT also they use SAT.
Okay. So yeah, so here is so this is our platform, this is our dashboard that has almost all the subjects, like where there is AP written, these are the courses for AP. There is AP Environmental Sciences, there's AP Chemistry, there's AP Biology, AP Calculus. And all the subjects that are below AP, they are for SATs, and for the ACTs, of course, there's further classification given that. So, there are courses for SAT Maths, there are courses for preparation for ACT. So this is also that something has to be explored. Maybe if I can share the trial link of this program and of these tutorials, then maybe a couple of academic people and all the respected staff that's available in this meeting, they can go through the content, that what the content is like and what the content is all about in terms of preparing students and helping them to accelerate their learning and growth and all their preparation for SATs and ACTs. So this is how I envision to, for the teachers and for the academic people to know about our 2 programs. Does it make sense if I'm telling you that Exact Math should be launched maybe in 1 or 2 classes, and I will distribute the trial access for our Apex Learning dashboard and program so that the teachers can explore and figure out more about the content which is available for AP and for SAT and ACT preparation? Does that make sense? Excuse me, is everybody able to hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. Okay. So I was asking, I was telling that for Exact Math, the way I suggest is that Exact Math maybe it could be launched in 1 or 2 classes, and when it comes to the Apex courses, which is the preparation, the test prep for AP and SAT, I can provide a trial access to the teachers and to all the respected staff members that are available in the meeting. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it will be, it will be much better for all the staff to explore and to figure out in depth and dive deeper into the content and dive deeper into the pedagogy which is being used for the courses and for the test prep. So it will make, I believe it will make much more sense for the teachers and for all the staff members to explore this way.
Okay.
Yes.
Sounds good.
Yes, and there are also other two programs that we have on table. One is all about concerned and related to augmented reality, and augmented reality, it's as we know, it's kind of a new booming and boosting technology, and it's part of our actually Edmentum program. We have created and developed this augmented reality content and augmented reality program about 6-7 years ago, and it's been doing quite good, especially in European countries and in European Union. When we talk about ARC, which is Augmented Classroom, so I would like to tell that what's the value it brings in, because there are different learning styles that the students they usually have. Some students they go for visual learning, some students they go for auditory learning, some students they go for kinesthetic learning, like they learn by practicing, they learn by creating, they learn by solving problems using Bloom's taxonomy. And some students, they learn by reading and writing. So using augmented reality, we have combined two ways and two methodologies of learning. It's learning by visualizing, and it's learning using kinesthetics. Like the students are able to create their own virtual models in this augmented reality platform, and they can, they can learn new aspects in this way. Like if I will just click on my dashboard, and this is the complete dashboard. It has a lots of features. It even has the feature to translate the entire dashboard and the entire content in Arabic. So it can maybe be used even for those schools that fall under the national curriculum. I'm not sure, but of course, it even if we are just considering the international curriculum schools and then having such features like the students can translate this text into Arabic, and we are also adding new languages every month, so the students can translate in the entire content and the entire dashboard into their native language to make things easier for them in terms of their understanding and comprehension. If I go to some of the augmented reality modules, so well, in this program of augmented reality, all the content we have so far is for KG to grade 5, which is for the primary school, in fact. And we are focused on these little aspects and concepts like ARC geography is there, there's ARC spaces there. If I'll just click on ARC geography, let's say, this is kind of a program that is more based on gamification, and since it's based on gamification, that's the reason that we have made the content specified for the kids, for the toddlers, especially for those who are studying in the primary school. It might take some time to load. I'm not sure if there is some problem in the connection, because I would like to show the content of augmented reality. I'm not sure it's taking quite a long time for. Okay, so here it's being loaded, and I, as a teacher, I'm already signed into the program, and if I will begin the class, and so it will tell me, okay, that this is the code that the students need to enter. In fact, all of our programs, they can be integrated with Classera, because when we are having our platforms implemented in Matikidma group and in one of other groups like Dome International, so that's how we work with them. We have integrated all our programs with Classera, and we have created a single sign-on option so that every student has to just sign into Classera, and from Classera, he can access our program or our platform without entering any second or third login details. So It's, well, so this is how actually the students can get into this one. For example, there is a link for desktop. If I'll copy it and if I'll paste it, then the students will be able to enter the link, they will enter the password, and they can enter the system. And we have different aspects and we have different things that the students can study using augmented reality. As I told you, this is a content which was created for the toddlers, which was created for the kids of primary school. So, well, this is now they can study about the solar system. It's more like gamification based, and they can select things. They can select the rocket space. They can select the sun. They can move things in solar system. They can toggle it above and backward to see and to have a 3D model amplification of different things. And it's just not the 3D model that's built in. They can study different aspects. They can study the rotation. They can study other things. And of course, it's not just these few content that's involved. We have created a lot of content, like the students can study the life cycle, the students can study the water cycle, and all these content additional, which the teachers want for their students of primary school to be studying and to teach them to. We have an option to create customized content on demand. For example, if there is cell biology, if animal cell or plant cell that is not available on our program, we can create the 3D model of that cell biology, and we can have it embedded in the program for the students to have this extra modifiable experience of augmented reality. So this is actually a bit about augmented reality. In fact, there are lots of features when it comes to augmented reality, and I will be forwarding some sort of one or two short webinars which will be kind of rostering and feature description about augmented reality and how to use it, and then maybe the teachers can explore about augmented reality. Lastly, but not the least, I have opened a new screen. I'm not sure if the teachers are able to see the new screen.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
We're not seeing the other screen.
I will stop sharing and I will reshare the other screen now. What about now? Are you able to see the other screen now?
Yeah, yes, we can.
Yeah, okay. So I would like to know, because this is one of our programs, and this is one of our, well, last but very interesting programs that we have. And I'm not sure, because there is an extensive amount of content in this program, which is powered and authored by McGraw-Hill. So I just want to make sure that since there are American schools and the other group that are working with McGraw-Hill, so if it was the same Actively Learn program that was offered by McGraw-Hill, or was it something different?
Excuse me, could you please repeat the question?
Yes, sure. This program, the one I'm showing you now, the dashboard that you're seeing now on the screen, this program has an extensive amount of content that is published by McGraw-Hill, and that's, of course, that has content even from other publishers, but it has an extensive amount of content from McGraw-Hill. So I just want to make sure that is this a program that the teachers were offered by McGraw-Hill before? It's called Actively Learn, and I'm not sure that if this is one of the programs that the teachers using before. Okay.
No, it's not this one.
Okay, perfect. Because as I told, if I'm offering something similar, if I'm offering something which is same, then it does not make sense. So this is our digital curriculum, and this is a big library and a big repository of our digital resources. In fact, it totally depends on the school, it depends on the teachers, it depends on the administration, it depends on the board, that which way they want to head to. Because like previously, I have showed you the courses for AP, the courses for SAT. I have showed you a diagnostic tool for standardized assessment. I have showed augmented reality. So again, it depends on the roadmap that is in alignment with the vision of the school, because there might be some schools that are focused on preparing their students in the best way for SAT and for ACT and for AP. There are some schools that might be more interested for adopting the modernized technology and taking off with the modern technology and innovations like augmented reality. And there might be some students and some teachers and some schools that are focused on the diagnostic and the best preparation of the students for their SATs and ACTs, as I told. So it depends. It really depends where your interest lies and where your interest is heading towards. Because if a group is interested in preparing the students for SAT and for ACT, the best program then from our side is ExactMath, which will be a replacement of MAP. And number two is the Apex Learning Platform, which is having the AP courses and the courses for SATs and ACTs. If the preference of a group is to become in alignment with the new technologies and with the modernized technologies, so it will be the augmented reality, so that we will have to move forward. And plus, with this augmented reality, we have a separate curriculum of computer science, which is not the generic one or the general one, but it's something that is based on the skills. Anyways, I would like to show some of the features of this program, Actively Learn. And Actively Learn is a digital curriculum that has its focus on 3 subject areas, actually 4 subject areas, in English, in math, in science, and social studies. Of course, if the teachers don't want to study the social study content and they don't want their students to study the social studies content in this one, we can even choose 3 subjects. So here are some of the features, some of the very interesting features that I would like to show. If I will click on, I have opened the section for science. I'll click on grade 6 to grade 8. And it will filter everything from grade 6 to grade 8. And we go to the topics. And let's say we are about to teach atomic and nuclear physics to the students. I click on atomic and nuclear physics. This is one of the textbook sections for grade 8 to grade 11. In fact, this digital curriculum cannot replace the traditional curriculum that is there in the place for years and, that comes from the prestigious publisher. But this digital curriculum or these digital resources from this digital repository can always act as a support and additional supportive tool for the students that want to excel throughout their studies and throughout their curriculum from grade 3 to grade 12. Some of the features now, this is the teacher's preview. This is the teacher's module. Like some of the features now is that, and it applies the same even for the students. Like for example, I as a teacher or as a student, I select some text and I want to hear it. I can hear it and I can use different settings to listen to the text. I can change the speed. I can increase, decrease the speed. I can change the accent. It's even better for those students who are struggling with their lexical levels and who are struggling with their comprehensive levels and who are struggling with their English speaking, listening skills, and even accent skills. But they can just have these skills learned by studying any subject. Like if I want to have it listened in the British accent, it can be done. If there is a need to increase the speed, we can even increase the speed. And as a teacher, there is always an option to add the assessment questions on this program and edit them. Let's say this is because after every one paragraph, there is a need to put some sort of question. That's how we make the entire program and the entire content interactive for the students, because the student has read the first two paragraphs. Now the student has to answer these two paragraphs, and if the student does not answer the question about these two paragraphs, he cannot read the next paragraph. And you as a teacher can always edit the type of the question. If I click on edit, we can create different types of questions for the students. We can create short answer questions. We can create multiple choice questions. We can create drawing questions. Of course, for drawing it needs a bit more of modification. We can create the poll, which is the match the following type of questions as teachers. And we can add choice. We can add the weightage. Adding weightage means that we can really indicate that how important this question is. Like if the weightage is 4x, it means that this question is 4 times more important than the other questions or the other assessments of this unit or this chapter. And I go ahead by saving. There are also explanation videos that are embedded in the program that the student, after studying and after going through, after reading the entire content, after answering the question, can also have an example or an explanation video of the solution of the numeral problem. And this is very customizable. If there's a teacher who wants to upload his or her explanation video on this program, it can be done. You can simply chunk it off and you can put your explanation video in this one. There are a couple of other features that I would like to show is, like, for example, if a teacher wants to insert a note. So what the teacher will do here, the teacher will click insert note, and you can write any type of note here that, okay, this is an important paragraph, and you can save it, so when the student goes to this section, he will know that, okay, the teacher has indicated this is an important paragraph. If the teacher wants to customize this content, for example, if the last two sentences, they are not needed, I can simply select them and I can white out, and they will be chunked off from the portion. If there is an additional question that I need to relate to the last two sentences of this paragraph, I can simply click on insert question. I can either insert the question here, or I can import a URL of the question here. The additional and the last final feature of this one is that if I want to translate it into my local language, for example, I'm a student who is maybe originally from Saudi Arabia or from Egypt or from Jordan, I will select Arabic as my preferred language, and up to some pedagogical extent, whatever you will select, the translation in your local language can be appeared here. If there is an Indian student, I think the local language is here. He can read in his language. If there is a student from Pakistan, he can just simply select his language, Urdu, and he can read in his local language. So this is one of the very interesting features of this program. If I'll just switch to the students preview. So the students, they might have the same, they might have a couple of additional features. I, as a student, I can highlight this if I want this paragraph to be highlighted and I want this paragraph to take some important notes and embed alongside with this. I can highlight it, I can write my notes, I can write here all of my understandings that I have. So it's kind of the next level of digitalization, but I must say that this repository, it has a lot of content. I will exit this one. It has a lot of content for the subject areas of English, for the subject areas of mathematics, for the subject areas of science, social studies, starting from grade 3 to grade 12. And we always advise this program for those schools who want their students to excel in every area throughout their curriculum. So these are a bit about our programs. I have showed 3-4 different programs and I've described about them. So now I would like to have from our respected staff and our respected members who were available on this meeting today, that what is kind of the program of interest. I'll stop sharing the screen. So what is the program of interest from the very quick review of our staff? So what is the program that all of the staff thinks that, okay, this is the program that we are more interested in? Or would you like to explore all of our programs by trial access?
I think it's much better to use to have access for all, because we have different coordinators here with different subjects. So I think it's much better to navigate through all.
Okay. And okay, so when it comes to ExactMath, which is our standardized assessment, what I will do, I think we can give you the trial access for ExactMath. Plus, if there can be an additional like 30 minutes of session, maybe a separate one for those teachers and coordinators who will be using ExactMath for their students. Will that make sense if there will be kind of training or rostering a session for ExactMath where our instructors and where our educators can explain the features of ExactMath and can explain its usage to your coordinators. So we can, for ExactMath, I'll give the trial access, but maybe we need to have an additional 30 minutes of session with those coordinators who will be into the implementation and usage of ExactMath. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it sounds good, but I think we have, as Mr. Shadi said, we have to take a decision regarding the test, because the coming 2 weeks, it's like a revision, and then we have a final exam after that. So regarding the type of exam that you have, we have to take a decision regarding this, because I'm afraid that we get the link, but we cannot implement it in our school because the time is so tight. So I think Mr. Shadi will back to you regarding this issue, but regarding the others, the other part, the other program, we can just get the link and or the trial access or trial code, so we can go deeper in this part.
Okay, that makes sense. I totally agree. I totally understand from the perspective of exams and from the perspective of the final exams. Because if I am giving the trial access of ExactMath now, then it will only be for the purpose that the teachers, they have to assess the content, they have to assess the methodology, they have to see whether it's worthwhile using ExactMath, and then the implementation has to be for the next year, like the implementation has to be during the summer vacations. So if other group agrees to use ExactMath, so the implementation will be done during summer vacations so that teachers and students can use ExactMath and the diagnostic test tool for the next year. Because I totally agree with you. Now we just have 2-3 weeks, and within these 2-3 weeks, it's really hard to prepare the students for the exam. So, Mr. Shadi, I need your advice now that what would be the next steps. I'll be giving you the trial access, but is there anything additional that is needed for some specific programs like ExactMath, the diagnostic tool, or anything additional from my side?
Thanks a lot, Mr. George. I think if we get the access, I will discuss this with the academic board, as I said before, and then we will get back to you later regarding our decision.
Well, that sounds fine. What I will do, maybe by tomorrow, because I will be heading for another meeting in 30 minutes, so maybe by tomorrow, you will have the trial access of all these programs, and even if your board is interested after making a decision if your board is interested that, okay, we are going to go ahead with Exact Math. We are going to go ahead with Actively Learn, which is the repository of digital resources. So what we can do, once the decision is about to be made, or once the decision is made, even during the summer vacation, we have the opportunity to have the pilot of these programs launched in the school. So there could be a permanent trial, and they could be, a permanent trial and exploring that how these programs can be integrated with your program and how these tools can work alongside Classera. So does that all make sense?
Yes, it does. By the way, I have a question. Does these platforms that you showed us today have any sort of reporting tool that accompanies the tool to allow us to check how the students are doing using?
Exactly. It has. Yeah. It will give you a complete report for every individual student. Like the teachers, they can assess the progress and the performance of the students by their names, by their class levels, and even there is kind of a reporting system which will be by schools, because I know Atta Group has about, 13 or 14 schools or maybe more schools. So you as teachers and administrators can view the reports also, by school levels. So the reports can be viewed by school levels, by grade levels, as well as by the name of every student, where the class teacher has to review the reports.
Very good. Okay, thank you, Mr. George.
Yes. So any additional question, because we've already exceeded 1 hour, any additional question from the side of our respected members and that you would like to have the answer from my side?
I believe we're good. Thanks, Mr. George. If we have a question, maybe someone can leave a question in the chat and I will email you all the questions that I get.
Sure. Will it be also preferable if you can also send or share the link of this recorded session to me as well, so I can just have it in the track record of our company?
Sure, no problem.
Yeah. So, well, at the end, I must say that it was very nice conducting this quick session. I know I could not dig very deeper into the content, but I superficially showed all the programs, the platforms, and I must say that it was really great having all the members, having all the academic people on the meeting today. I'm very grateful for all the staff members, and it was really a pleasure coming across all of you, and hope the next time when I am in Riyadh, I will come to the school as well for an in-person meeting with all of you.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. George. Have a nice day.
Well, my pleasure, and I wish you a great day to all of you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you everyone for attending. Thanks.